Hello there.
You don't listen, do you?
I'm Pickle Rick!
You have failed this city. I can do this all day.
This is the way.
Welcome to the fourth episode of Venting Views. I'm Josh.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Connor.
And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars, specifically the first two episodes of the new season, Season 7. First episode, Bad Batch. What do you all think?
Awesome.
It was just the way that it came right back after 7 years of it being not on air to just start with that typical narrating voice. Nothing had changed. It felt like it fit right into place.
Yeah, I feel like the first episode was really intriguing and a lot of jaw-dropping action in this first episode after this big break that we had, and it's just jumped straight back into it again.
I think the movement behind the screen, like people wanted this to come back. We saw Star Wars Rebels come back. When that started, they picked up exactly where Clone Wars had finished. And going back to the way that this starts, the Bad Batch is something completely new, completely original. We start off with these clone troopers, and they've all got these sudden defects because something needs to be done. There's all these separatist movement, but they're getting all these readings are happening, and they don't know what's going on with the all their plans are all getting read, and we don't know how it's kind of happening. And there's all these little plot points to kind of lead up to it. But specifically speaking about how the Clone Wars kind of started, the Bad Batch drop in, and there's all these really cool characters with all these really amazing personalities. Hunter, my personal favorite, is like the leader of them, and yeah, I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, this episode, the first episode, Bad Batch, was awesome. To get the introduction of the Bad Batch, like, it was good because we were so used to seeing the normal clones, and they're just, like, they call them regs, the regs.
Yeah.
But, like, to see a change up and a bit different, and, like, they all have different abilities, and they're all characteristics are a bit different, and what makes people like them, like, you enjoy the big guy.
Yeah, Wrecker. His personality, he's always out there, he's yelling, he just wants to kill, he's angry, he just wants to smash and destroy. And I think that brings like a comical aspect to like seriousness of like their plans and stuff.
I 100% agree with that, because the way that the Clone Wars is designed, it's supposed to be like this serious thing, but there's a lot of humor behind the glass we don't actually really see until you see this Bad Batch, and they just don't care. The way that the Succession record never failed a mission, because they do it so uniquely, it's really hard to predict. And that's why they're brought in, because originally they thought that we need someone that can't read, because clone troopers in general are just so readable. It's hard to kind of get an idea of how the Bad Batch acts, because they just do it on impulsion, and that's why they're like, maneuver this, and then they can just attack. Whereas the Clone Wars, they all have this certain regime about them.
They all follow the same tactics. And that's what this whole little story arc that starts off season 7's about. Like, this story arc is an important one for Captain Rex. It's about how separatists understand and know every move that the Republic is doing, because the clones are just predictable, and it also links, like, it's smart. They've linked the storyline with Captain Rex and his personal and his feelings, because it's Echo. He recognizes that it's Echo who supposedly died like season 2.
Yeah, he died at the Citadel. Yeah,
he blew up and we never saw him again. We all thought he was dead, but he's back. And part of it's the mystery of how is he? And he has that link, because even Captain Rex said, like, he sees clones die all the time, but this is different. Like, this is one of his brothers, like his actual, like, he fought alongside him. And so it gives a lot of, like, personal importance for Rex.
There's a lot of reminiscent themes throughout both the first and second one, so I think we should kind of talk about them collectively in terms of how they both are, because we see in the second episode, Rex is kind of affected by that emotion, like whether or not he should trust that emotion. In the first episode, there's not much to really discuss in terms of the action, because the action sequences, they've changed. It looks like they haven't really jumped into this whole rhythm of Clone Wars straight away. The way that they attack is just so, like, unrealistic, but it's so, like, imagine how Order 66 would go down if they were the ones that were put on. I don't even know if that would work collectively. How do they all go when Emperor Palpatine says Order 66, because they're irregular? Does that not really?
We don't know. They haven't crossed that.
Yeah,
really.
I feel like they're.
I think they would, because supposedly every clone has the chip in their head.
Yeah.
Like, it's the ones that take it out who don't, which is Rex. From what I know, it's only Rex.
Yeah.
And Echo Echo was. Echo took it out in 5s, but they're all dead, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's
they
what
would
hits,
go rogue, which would be interesting. Maybe we'll see that. We don't know.
I think that's what hits home a lot because he's kind of forgotten about his old clone troopers that really felt a lot to him, like his own personal team.
Yeah.
Because you can have a lot of affection for like the brothers because he's the captain, but like I'm sure if something happened to Commander Cody, which we know it doesn't, he would feel like, you know, split in two, knowing that he's one of his closest brothers. I mean, he's still his superior, but it's still respectable amongst the clones.
Yeah.
But the way that the Bad Batch are, when they kind of, the derogatory kind of use of language, the way that you kind of put you down, oh, you regs, or you guys are like, watch what we do. And then they just mercilessly takes out everyone. All the droids, this army of droids is coming to them, takes them out in like a heartbeat. And I honestly didn't see that coming. I thought, no, these guys can't be too good enough for them not to be caught or something.
Yeah, I think they use that strategy of just charge and destroy.
Yeah.
Just don't worry what happens. Just keep running. You see Wrecker grab that massive just piece of random metal, which makes no sense because it does have holes in it, and they're just getting shot at by every angle. Yeah, they're just continually, like, Tech just throwing out these coordinates and Hunter's just throwing out these grenades, and it's just shocking them, and they're just going down in waves. And then you got Crosshair just sniping him, taking him out. It just works. And you don't even see any help by Rex and like Cody and stuff. They're just all behind. And it took them all out and it worked by easily.
I think they were just so shocked because seeing someone, especially their own troopers, they're usually responsible for those troopers. Okay, yeah, do this, do that, follow us. We know what we're doing. Whereas they're not really used to this level of authority. And I know that all of them answer to Hunter because Hunter's like their leader, their Captain Rex, you know, and it's really comforting to see that both Hunter and Rex are kind of somewhat on the same page. They're not really fighting all that much. You know, Pat said they all have these really interesting personalities and we can all get familiar with them in our own ways because they're all different.
Yeah, I think it was good. Like, the first episode was a good episode to really show off their abilities because that's what it was for. That whole sequence of them destroying all those clone troopers and stuff, well, not clones, or the droid, was them to boast and show them their abilities. Like, and the second episode was more storyline and like feelings of characters. Like in the second episode, when they were actually going to find Echo and they started to fight within each other, like Captain Rex was fighting with Hunter because he called him a reg, and it was like, you know what I mean, there's more to it.
Who's that sniper guy? Who's that? Crosshair, yeah. I thought he was the one that was, or maybe not. And I'm not really sure what that race is. It's a strange race in the second episode. They just took the general and Tech was able to translate so easily for them. The way that they're like, oh, we took the general on purpose. And I like how they brought Anakin in because starting off the second episode, we can see how there's a lot of love for Padme. And with the hologram, we saw in the trailer, you know, them touching hands.
She's definitely pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell she's holding a stomach, but he's not supposed to know. No, he doesn't.
Chronologically in the storyline of how Star Wars works, he shouldn't know. So I mean that he's not that smart, even though he's a Jedi. Does he not see that she's pregnant? Like, does he not sense? Maybe they'll get to that. We don't know yet.
Yeah, because she's literally holding her stomach as the hologram is going, and he doesn't find out. I remember when the start of the Revenge of the Sith starts after that opening sequence when Dooku dies. He's there, and she's like, "I'm pregnant. What are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
So she's kind of like panicking, and he's really shocked, but also he's thinking, "Oh, maybe it's a blessing in disguise." But at the same time, the way that Rex covers for him and like acts like, "Oh, I know nothing's going on," and the way that General Kenobi comes in,
so good.
But I absolutely loved the fact that Kenobi knew. He actually knew. I think his whole impression is like he kind of knows, but not really. He's not really addressing it. So he has this impression that, yeah, there's their relationship there, but I don't know if they're, you know, together or not. But he's like, "Oh, say hello to Padme for me." I thought that was really cool.
It's always good. Like, just shows you that he's always in the loop, even though he's not. Like, that was his only scene in the whole of the episode or this season so far. That's the only time he's in it. That's all. Like, he was still good. Yeah. It shows you that he's an important, vital character.
Yeah, he's just in a relationship with Padme. It's difficult because Jedis are not supposed to be in a relationship at all. And the way that Anakin, you can see how conflicted he is because he's trying to do what's right. And Padme's trying to comfort him, saying maybe you should give in to your feelings, even though you shouldn't. You should always trust your instincts. And he's saying, I've got these instincts about Rex that he's using his feelings too much about Echo because everyone knows or feels that he's dead because he exploded. How do you survive from that? Rex is pretty like headstrong with this episode. He's adamant that he's alive. No one can change that.
Yeah, I think his emotions were definitely running high, especially in the start of the second episode and towards the end of the first episode. He's very stubborn in believing Echo's still alive. At the start, you think, could this be the downfall of this mission? Is he going to get too focused on thinking that Echo's alive and then put the whole team in jeopardy.
I think that was the whole point of this, like, and it foreshadowed in the same thing as what Anakin has that problem. That's what Padme said, like, Rex is a lot like you. Like, he lets his emotions cloud his judgment in what he does. And I think that's what worked.
Yeah.
The crossover, like, foreshadowing.
I agree with it. And that's why he's a bit more emotionally strained, but Anakin can see that. That's why I'm saying, like, it's kind of sad to know where it ends, because Rex and Anakin have this really respectable relationship. They don't go,
They're a strong relationship.
They don't go, oh yeah, you report to me, so, you know, sit in your place type thing. It's more like, oh, we all respect each other. We're all doing this. We're trying to fight this war. And at this point in the war, they're winning. They're winning convincingly, except all of this whole droid thing with Echo, rumored to be apparently alive, giving away the tactics of their plan because they're not really used to it.
I think I really enjoyed it, but, like, also, like, how they're slowly changing, like, Anakin's looks from season 6 to season 7. He's got a bit longer hair now, just like the movies. Like, they're trying to make it look more like the movies.
Yeah,
like
I definitely agree with that.
I enjoy that. Like, that's really good. Just all the stuff that they're working on towards, I just hope it works out, like, with Order 66.
Yeah. We're not really sure if they will actually show Order 66, but they're the rumors that are flowing at the moment. There are scenes of the trailer that show the Revenge of the Sith scenes as animated Clone Wars, and the graphics of these animated coming back, it looks like it's even more crispier, and, you know, with the graphics the way it's designed, it's like nothing's ever changed, but it's really even better.
Good. Yeah.
And I think it's that Disney Plus budget, because Disney, when they bought when they bought Star Wars, Clone Wars had ended, everything kind of finished, and it's going to rebirth in this unlimited budget. I feel like they have a lot of space, a lot of time to do whatever they want, and they're executing it like it's never changed.
I think what I enjoy about the whole of Clone Wars is that they just put a different side of the war and what you see compared to the movies. Because you only see the story of Star Wars and the Clone Wars in particular from one side. And then you see the downfall, but you don't see the other aspects, like the clones aspects, like their feelings, they're humans. Like, you see, like, the effects of the war and then what's going to happen, like, 'cause you know what's going to happen to them, and you feel bad for them because you know all this is going to come crashing down eventually.
Yeah.
When the order comes in, and I think it's nice to see a different side of the story.
They stress that the emotions of the clone troopers are there, they're not just your regular folk that just, oh yeah.
And I think that's what they were like in the movies.
Yeah.
They were just expandable.
Yeah.
They were just
use them. That's fine.
There was that's the thing, though, with movies you can't go into depth. They don't have the time to. That's what the show's good with. So
yeah, the way they're doing it is they're doing it calm and calculated. Remember, they've only got one season, so they're trying to not
12 episodes.
Yeah, 12 episodes. That's crazy.
So 10 down already.
Yeah, 10 to go. One a week. You know, it'll be over in 10 weeks, and that's it. It is done. Clone Wars. But this is not so much damage control, because there's a lot of split opinions amongst the way that the Rise of Skywalker ended. They just want to make a smooth transition from Attack of the Clones to Clone Wars to Revenge of the Sith, so it doesn't look like it's out of place. And I think they will do a good job of it. There was this episode with Anakin, how he found out he was Darth Vader. He was all this, this really bad person. All his memory got wiped. So we know that as much as we know it's going to happen, we can't stop it. And that's what's really kind of hard to battle with. But, they break into the compound at the end. We see all these, really cool sequences, and we see, what's the muscly, strong guy?
Wrecker.
Yeah, he's like scared of heights. There's a lot of kind of humor.
Yeah, it shows he's not completely invincible.
Yeah.
He's still got his insecurities.
Yeah.
Which is what makes the character even better.
Yeah, I agree with it. I'm not sure about that sniper guy. Crosshair. He's just like, he's a very quiet individual.
Yeah, he's just quiet, but he does what he's told.
Yeah.
If he's told to sit on the rocks and just wait to be told what to do, he'll do that.
Yeah.
In the scene where they're getting overrun by battle droids, they tell him, we need a ship. Takes out 2 droids, has a ship. Like 5 minutes later, he arrives after they've gone through the battle.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at Wrecker, I think he just brings that comical sense to the seriousness of the second episode in particular. Especially at the start when they're coming into this new planet that they're going to, and they're all standing there, and all you see is Wrecker eating a drumstick on one hand and just shoulder lifting a box droid. And I think it just brings a bit of, I had a laugh to it when I saw that, where there's a lot of people looking at the other serious moments. So I think it's a good change.
Yeah. It's also taken into account that they still want to make it serious. There's a lot of plans to go, but we can have a laugh on the way. It doesn't have to be all this seriousness. But I don't know where they're going with this Echo thing, because they get to the compound, they try and find him, and Tech's with Rex, and they're in that office kind of type of area. and they're trying to Tech is just brilliant throughout this. He takes the cake, I think, with this second episode because he's doing a lot of movement. Imagine if he wasn't involved, they wouldn't have got anywhere near the compound. And they're there, they open the thing, and Echo comes out, and Echo looks like Cyborg. Like he genuinely looks like he's just
almost dead in a way.
Yeah, his eyes roll back. He doesn't look like he's like they've extracted information from him. But even Admiral Trench, he comes in, in the video, and he says, "You need to protect them, and you need to stop whatever's happening." It's like, "Oh, don't worry." And they look like they've all. Separatists always are supposed to be planning 10 steps ahead, but they never do because there's always something that's impulsive about the Bad Batch. And that's why they're so successful, is they just do things and no one complains about it because at the end of the day, they get the job done. So that's why I feel like the Bad Batch are always destined to fail eventually. And when it does, it'll cost them all their lives.
So you reckon they'll die off?
I think they'll die. Are they really going to be? Because they're too good. In my opinion, they're just definitively the best part of this, not only just this episode or just this new season, but like I've never seen clones do as well like this since Fives and Echo and all that them started back in the day with the first episode, season 3, episode 1, because they've never kind of worked that well together. I feel like it might be one of them that kind of disbands the rest because I don't think they can generally hold it together when they know they all have to rely on each other at some point in the episode.
You know what I love? They called themselves the Bad Batch, but they called them Clone Squad 99. You know what reference that is to, right? That's to 99, the actual clone. Remember the clone back in
99, yeah.
99?
Yeah.
That was the deformed one that
was too.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So that's why they're called 99 because they're deformed.
Goodness.
It's like in honor of him.
Yeah, because he was at the Citadel, the clone trooper facility at Camino, and he got shot in the back, and that was an emotional thing because we saw how you're a defect, you're not useful, something's wrong with you, you can't. Their lifespan is not as long as a normal person. They accelerate it so that they're useful in
earlier.
Yeah,
because they're clones are just made for war. That's what I like so much about the show. It makes them more human than they're human, but it makes them so much more than they are. Like they're just bred for war, and this show expands it so much more than that. That's good.
Yeah, I think the progression, the character development, it's really good because it shows a lot of, and I don't know what could happen next because I thought, they're going to really get into it. How's he alive? What happened? And then it just cuts. And I'm like, that's the second episode done. And then they always leave you on a bit more to kind of feed off so that you're actually keen for the next episode. It's not like the other time where you're just watching it and it kind of ends and that's it. That's the first episode done. This feels more continuous going into another episode, because I think they know that they have such a limited span.
The first episode definitely sets up the second episode, but I think both these episodes definitely set up what the season is going to be like.
Yeah.
With all their heavy action, all these different tactics, how they're going to do it, how they're going to help Echo. And I think that just brings back all these feelings for everyone, and everyone's excited and just want the next episode to come out. I think that's what they've done good. They've just left it with a bit of a cliffhanger, and now everyone's like, they're hooked. And season 7, episode 3, everyone's waiting for.
The way that they've done this, they knew exactly what they were going to do. Whether or not they've been playing this for years, and the writers but even Anakin's voice sounds different. I know the actor would have matured by then, but he sounds like he's in this one mindset, but he's still split in the way he has to make his decision. And that's why he relies on Padme. And I feel like it's going to become a theme to reiterate that he's got still this relationship with Padme. It's not something that's just, there and to be ignored. So I think they're going to do really well with this season and the way that it.
Anakin's always Anakin is like the MVP of this show.
Yeah.
They've made him such a better character than what the movies did to him. They've fleshed it out so much more and they made him human. People can relate to it. One thing I was never sure about is the voice of Padme, is that the same as the movies or it's different?
No.
Because that's
Natalie Portman. Yeah.
It's not her, is it?
No.
It just sounds so similar. The casting of the voice is perfect.
Brilliant.
Because I'm like, I was watching it, I'm like, is that the same as the movies? But I wasn't sure. It sounds so close.
I feel like we've got enough information from each character that we didn't know from the season, so we don't really need that. I think what they're focusing on more is trying to reiterate their relationships that they've had with the characters. So it's like, I want to see more Kenobi, Anakin, a relationship, because we kind of like, they're there, but they all do their own thing. Anakin, go do this, and he's so impulsive, he just kind of does it. And that's why we see this Bad Batch. they kind of do it. And Anakin's like the mature one in this type of situation. He's the one that's been like, what are you guys doing? What do you do? Oh, it's all right, we'll take care of it. And he's not used to that because he's always the person. And this is why it's gone from like to boy to man, this responsibility of you are a Jedi. He's never been good enough to everyone else's eyes because there's always that room for you're too consumed by your feelings, so you act on impulse. But at the end of the day, he gets the job done. It really shows his progression in the way that he talks and the way that he confirms his, with Rex and Cody, and they're not focusing too much on that, which I like.
Yeah.
Because there's too much pressure on all these big characters, and if they don't fulfill their roles, then it's going to be a bad season. It's going to look like, oh, how is that character supposed to be in that sequence, when realistically they've just taken this whole new approach and focusing on different people, like the Bad Batch.
They're currently putting more emphasis on characters we haven't seen before and putting them at the front, the Bad Batch, like so far. I get what you mean. I'm enjoying it. It's good. Instead of Anakin, it's more Bad Batch, yeah.
Yeah, I do definitely want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi. Whether or not they put him in this next episode, but they really want to focus this on Echo and whether the repercussions of why they brought Echo back. Obviously, there's reason that they've brought him back. Maybe he knows about Order 66 happening, maybe not. The way that I see it kind of folding out is that they wouldn't put him in there with, 10 episodes of Clone Wars to go for no reason.
Yeah. I think similar to what you think, like the way it's going to roll out, they'll get Echo back. Like but I think he's pretty much gone. He's alive still, but the Echo
he just doesn't look right, I think, the way that he is.
But it'll be good. It'll be good to see.
I'm keen for the third episode.
So that was only a short one, but that's what we're going to talk more about it because we're enjoying it. If you want to keep subscribed or following or anything like that on all the platforms we're on, just if you enjoy it, keep listening, please. Any views are good for us because we love to vent our views. But anyway, I'm Pat.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Connor.
Thanks for listening.
See you guys later.